Okay.
I was good. I couldn't have been any more bad. And when I was right, I couldn't have been any more wrong. But everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. And when I tried hard, it could have been more easy to do. And when I was close, it couldn't have been further from you. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. And everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. And I don't understand why your head is in your hands. Cause no one's ever gonna get in trouble but me. And no one's ever gonna get in trouble but me. And I don't understand why your head is in the sand. Cause no one's ever noticed anybody but me. And no one's ever noticed anybody but me. Cause when I was good, I couldn't have been any more bad. And when I was right, I couldn't have been any more wrong. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me. Everybody knows what's going on. Everybody knows but me.
So, good afternoon, everybody. Good evening. And we are back again with the new topic, right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful, ugly. And we are back with the panel again. And let's start with the youngest member of the panel today, Vasavi. Could you introduce yourself, please? Thank you. Actually, the youngest is sleeping in his mom's arms. Okay.
Yes. Hi everyone. So my name is Vasti Kejriwal, and I'm here on this platform because I've been learning under Anu Auntie for some time, and I'm very interested in mental health and meta health. And this topic is very, very close to my heart. So
Okay.
that's it.
Thank you so much, Vasavi, for that. Let's go to the child specialist, Sumita Mendirata.
Hi everyone on the panel and on Facebook. Again, amazing day, and today I took quite a lot of effort to dress appropriately according to the topic. So it's a theme. I think a lot of us are on that white and black, because it's about opposites what we are talking. So hi everyone, I'm Sumita Mendirata. I'm a consultant clinical psychologist and counselor, and EFT and matrix screen printing practitioner, a read-on therapist, and a brain gym movement facilitator. And here today, it's very interesting that what we are going to discuss is something very, again, close to my heart. And also, I think it's a basic language what we have learned. So let's see how it goes. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Yogini. She's sitting today in the car and she's come today. She's taking care of her daughter. And that's what the show is about. It
Right.
doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter. If you have a heart to connect, you will. We are not looking for perfections. We are looking for your opinion. Thank you, Yogini. Really, really appreciate your presence. So if
Thank
you can,
you.
thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Anu. Yeah. So my name is Yogini and I'm a mind coach. But today I really love this topic because I'm also a mom to 3 beautiful kids. And this question arises every time we try to teach the child something. Because our programming, the way our parents brought us up, हमेशा ये सही है, ये गलत है. We were not allowed to make choices. And as a mind coach, the more I learn how the mind develops, how people react, I mean, so many childhood issues, so many childhood problems, I realized that no, that's not the way to do it. Let everyone really make their choice and feel right in their conscience. Because जब हम किसी को force करते हैं, right or wrong, if I tell my child, you have to eat this, they will do it for once, but that impact remains. You know, my parents forced me to do that. And now I am the bad one instead of they being the bad one. So I think I kind of go through this every single day because now I'm mind coach and I'm half trained by my parent on the subconscious level about parenting. So that conflict is constantly there and balancing it is where the challenge lies. So I am a learner in this part and would be nice to listen to everybody else's opinions on the same.
Absolutely. So let's go to Dr. Rashmi Arora from Delhi.
Hi, everybody. I'm Dr. Rashmi Arora. I'm a homeopathic practitioner and a mental health trainer and an NLP consultant from Delhi. This topic is very close to my heart because this is the duality factor. We always juggle. It's like a juggler juggling between his balls. We are so what we are doing is we are juggling between what is right, what is wrong, and we don't know how to balance it.
Thank you so much. Let's go to Joanne, who's in Germany right now.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for welcoming me again. I'm a full-time mum at the moment, especially today, as you can hear. Also, meta health, metakinetics, and EFT practitioner and trainer. And quickly, please. I loved what Yogini just said really about learning as a parent, because it's perfect timing for me with a 3-year-old to be undoing my programming on what's right and wrong and giving my own child a different view of that. So I'm really looking forward to what everybody's got to share today.
Thank you so much for that. Let's go to Gopu sir, the Gopi
Hi
Kanai.
everyone.
हर रोज
यहाँ
लड़की चली जा रही हैं गोपू सर, हर
पता
रोज।
नहीं किसका अट्रैक्शन है, आपका टॉपिक का या मेरा?
पता नहीं, अरे आप तो हैं, बताइए।
Anyway, that is why it is either good or it's ugly. So
ठीक कह रहे
it's
हैं।
a love topic, good, bad, right, wrong, beautiful, ugly, सब
Yeah.
चलता रहता है दुनिया में।
हाँ।
हाँ, so I am a coach, I am a mentor, I am a consultant. I've rolled into one. I help startups, I help business people as well as people who need help to grow and prosper. So that's my role. I help handhold CEOs and executives to the next level.
Thank you
Lovely
so
topic. Thanks for joining.
Thank you so much. Well, let's go to Archana. I simply with love call her Jumping Jack. So over to Archana.
Actually, yeah, I agree, Anu. I really feel I have wheels under my feet.
उसके बावजूद आप साथ चले जाते हैं, हम कभी आपको छोड़ते नहीं। चलिए बताइए।
I like your consistency actually. Hi everyone. I'm Dr. Archana from Delhi. I'm a practicing homeopath and definitely a student of Dr. Anu. And yes, right, wrong, good, bad. Great. Everything is good if it suits you, and everything is not good if it doesn't suit you.
Absolutely.
Just a perspective, I think, Anu.
It is. It is.
That's
So
it.
let's begin with where and why did I think about this topic. Yesterday, when we were discussing, I heard the panel talking number of times. This is wrong. This is right. This is good. This is not good. This is how it should be, and this is how it should not be. And suddenly it struck me, who is deciding that? Who is deciding who is ugly and who is not ugly? I remember still every time I met my meta health community away from India, I felt like a brown girl in the white world. I don't know what I was doing there because neither did I look like them, neither did I talk like them. I had a huge complex thinking that they may not even understand my English. And yet, when I came back to India and came back to stay here, I didn't feel like a complete Indian either. And there were people who would bet and say, is she from India or is she from somewhere else? Now, that suddenly made me sit down and understand that really, and all the things that I was doing in Czech Republic when I was staying there, and all the things that I was doing maybe in Calcutta when I was staying there, in four cardinal points of India, we never knew what was going to become wrong. So let me give you a simple example. My mom-in-law and my sister-in-law came home, and I was living in Calcutta at that time. They were in Delhi, and there was a housekeeping call that came from Citibank. My husband was working for Citibank at that point, and he said, ma'am, you had given us a call for the plumbing. And I said, yes, I have house guests and I would like the flushes and everything to work perfectly fine. Could you please make sure that somebody is there in the evening? Now, I still remember this. This has happened years back, that my sister-in-law and my mother-in-law got angry with me. And I couldn't figure out why were they angry with me. So she said, you should have said, Mummy ji aaye the and sister aayi hai. You should have said that my mom and my sister-in-law are at home. Why did you say it was a house guest? We are not your house guests. We are your home people. And I was talking to a plumber. I mean, you can get it. For me, for that plumber, it wouldn't matter. So sometimes we do things in our way and they may look absolutely wrong to someone else, not just wrong, but they might feel disrespected. Of course, they understood later and we sorted it out. It's not that it's sitting in the raw place. That's why I can talk about it loudly. But I pick up my talk for you to get that no matter what happens, you can suddenly feel ugly. Maybe I didn't feel like I fitted into the European world where, everybody looked so different than me. And they could talk, with an accent, and I was talking with an Indian accent. I suddenly felt I wasn't fitted in. Or maybe today morning when I was sitting down and talking to someone and I was saying, I don't know whether I'm making a good mom to Arjun right now. He's 27. I'm still questioning myself. He wants something from me and I'm not able to deal with it in the respective way that I should. Something happens and I'm blowing my fuse off. So I don't know whether that's right or wrong. And often we do this. We'll ask the other person, I did this. Am I right? Am I right? Am I right? We use this at the end of the statement. I use a lot of times. Am I making sense? What am I saying? Am I making sense? Means you have to validate me to say that I'm making sense. Very aware of it. And somewhere for us, these words, these opportunities become these incidents should become an opportunity. And yet we get stuck over here. So I will go over to first to Yogini because she's sitting in the car. You can throw
Yes,
some light
sir.
on if you've had some instances like this where you felt right, wrong, good, bad, ugly, maybe in some place you felt like really beautiful, somewhere else you felt ugly. So give an example of all the three things happening in your life.
Yeah, I think I'll agree with you with the foreign country thing. So I stayed in United States for 9.5 years. I did not face any racism, but I would say that it was my own complex. As you said, these people talk in an accent, they behave in a certain way, they go for certain parties, they play different sports than we do. So yes, somewhere, there was constant fear that I hope I don't do something wrong. I hope I don't do something wrong that they find me a misfit. So, in that quest to fit in, I was constantly questioning my actions and not being authentic. Okay. So, yes, that part definitely. If I was in India, I was a different person. When I moved there, it was a complete different world for me. And as far as in-laws, or I think we all face that. Why are all these norms? Why is it necessary for you to wear a sari or a salwar suit for your in-laws? What is good or bad if I don't wear one? Why am I a bad bahu? I mean, you look at a person's heart, a person's genuinity, and not how they dress. Because when you don't feel comfortable in what you are doing, you are going to show that off, and that bounces back to you, right? So if I am wearing a sari but I'm not comfortable, I am irritated inside. I might keep my mouth shut in front of people, but it will bounce back somewhere. So who defines these rules? Why is the society defining so many rules? Right from women changing their surnames. I have spent 25 years with my dad. Why should I change my surname? Is it necessary? You give me a choice. There's a difference between asking, are you comfortable doing this? Today we see all these big actors, actresses, nobody changes their names. Why is it okay for them to not do? That is okay, that is good, because that's good for their career. But what about us? Because we didn't have big careers then. So all these norms are so pre-decided, and people who break them are the rule breakers and are bad, right? But if they're done by those high potential people, rich people, or those actors who have the power or who show their power or whom they worship, it's okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow if God comes and says something, that's valid. But if we say the same thing, it's bad, right? Right from the taboo on periods to everything. If God comes and tells you something, it's right. If people tell you and give you logical sense, no, you are bad, you're opposing things, you are always, trying to be the grandmother. A lot of things, people keep saying. So I think
Absolutely.
at the end of the day, I realized over so many years, it's about my conscience. If my conscience is clear, when I do something for someone with a good intention, I leave it there. The moment I have to justify my action to someone, that means I did something wrong because my conscience is not clear. So if you can do without justifying, you did it right. If you have to justify your actions, that means your conscience is not clear. And that's where it all ends. It's all about you and not about anyone else, actually.
Brilliantly said. And let's go to Joanne because she's right now not at her home place. And even though she looks like everybody else, does she feel different? And does this good, bad, ugly come in her space, speech, or in her space, wrong, right? Because she's groomed herself somewhere else and is right now stationed somewhere else. So over to Joanne.
Hi. I had a really emotional experience when I first came here because we're living across the road for the next few days from my partner's cousin, and they come from a Ghanaian and German background, so quite different from my reserved English background. And we stayed with them for the first couple of days, and then we got our own flat across the road, an Airbnb. And I didn't want to go and impose myself on them because we'd been there for 2 days. So the first day we came here, I just stayed at home with Kweku and we didn't go to visit them. And then in the evening, Kweku came back and he said, Anna called me. She said, what's wrong? You haven't been over to see them. And I thought, oh, I've done something wrong by trying to be right. In their culture, family is so important and they really wanted us to be there. They thought they had done something wrong and I wasn't happy. I thought I better not go there and impose on them or I'll be doing something wrong. And all we wanted, all of us, was just love and connection. We just had a different cultural way of trying to get it and explain it.
So beautifully you've explained, and that's exactly what I was coming. Nobody wants to hurt anyone. All people want is a love, is a connection. And yet something happens. We were culturally brought up differently. And those differences come up in tiny and big things in our life. And that can be when you're within the same culture also, because culture of two houses is always different. Over to Sumita with the same question. Right, wrong, good, bad, ugly, and beautiful.
Yeah. So, listening to beautiful experiences, what just right now came in my mind. So, I stayed in Chennai, for almost a month and a half for my studies. I was doing a course, and I was staying at my uncle's house. So, that was a absolutely different experience. Going from Chandigarh to Chennai was like, so I was really, feeling, trying to always adjust. And there was one more girl with me, one more parent who was doing the same course. So, we both would really talk, and there were approximately 40 people in the group. So it was almost a 1.5 month course, and almost more than half the time, it was just me and her talking. you know Somehow we were not, going ahead, or somehow they were not. So they thought that we two are together, so they don't need to really come across. That is the feedback we got later. And we tried to connect in some way, like asking an assignment, or sharing some food. But somehow the connection was not happening. It was during the end, when almost there were some like ice breaking sessions, and they could understand that we are also looking for more connections. And that is how we connected, and later on we formed so nice friendships. So at the end of the session, when we completed that 1.5 month, they were actually, we became very good friends. So I used to really laugh at them. Can't you people couldn't you people talk to us before? So she said, no, we thought you both are happy together, so we don't need to come close to you. But I said, no, still we came from the same background. We were looking for more connections, and we actually tried to take help for shopping. I would ask questions, where to go for shopping, because I'm not from Chennai. So I would just keep asking them questions. So she was like, yeah, we understood that you are a big shopping freak. Huh? You were asking questions about all that. So that's a little, I would say, a lot of adjustments which take. And I was actually, I had just asked that friend who became later on my very good friend, had I been alone, she said, had you been alone, we would have really come close to you, because then we thought that, you are alone. But because you had one person from the same background, so we really didn't feel the need to, connect to you. So she also had a correct intention, and I also had a good intention. But somehow, the connections took a long time to happen. So
Isn't it
that's my experience.
assume that other person knows our culture, knows us, and we create our rights and wrongs in our head, and depending on what is right and wrong fed into our head, we react from there and connect with people from there. Let's go to Vasavi, because she's also been in the cross culture. She's also been in two different places, and right now she's going to go back to UK, and she's going to be working over there, away from her country. Just let's ask her how she feels about it. She studied there. Yes.
Yes, I thank you for that question. I actually wanted to say that I really relate to feeling like the white girl in India amongst people like who are brown, and then feeling like the brown girl abroad. So it's like I feel like I'm neither here nor there,
Yeah.
and it's very strange. I feel it's some kind of complex that's created in the mind where my first class in my freshman year in my undergraduate degree, I walked into a class of 15 people, and the majority of the students were white. They weren't necessarily from India, they were from Italy, Greece, Russia, some were Caucasian. And I didn't expect to feel the way I felt, but I just felt very emotionally stunted and speechless. And I suddenly felt that I couldn't speak and that I don't belong here. And I started feeling that everyone is looking at me, and the truth was they probably were not, but it was all in my head, and it was really big. Like the feeling was so big that I became numb, and I just went out of my body. So I don't know why I felt such a strong emotion. And the more I think about it, one of the reasons that comes to my mind is that in India, I feel in our culture in India, being fair is very important. And people really appreciate the fairness of the skin, and they keep talking about it. So it's like this preconceived idea that the fairer you are, the cleaner you are, or the more attractive you are, or the more approachable you are. It's something that I wouldn't even believe in. I would speak against it, but then I fell victim to the same concept because I started thinking I'm not worthy enough because I'm not fair enough. And that is something that I kept speaking against. And when I couldn't practice it on myself, that was it was just something else for me, because I wasn't able to preach what I teach, or follow what I preach. So that is something that I've realized. And I think good and bad is a very subjective thing, because I think, for example, during the coronavirus pandemic, people have locked down and stayed at home. But the more and more people I speak to, I realize that everyone in the house had a different opinion what is good for the health or right for the health. Someone was saying you shouldn't order any food, even though the restaurants have opened. One family member is saying that no, I can order something if I sanitize it from the outside. One family member saying it's unsafe to even go for a drive for 10 minutes. The other one is saying that no, we should go, otherwise we cannot stay at home. And then a lot of tension, at least in my household, there was a little bit of tension between what is considered right and what is considered good. But then there were three different opinions around good and right, because coronavirus also it was a very good example of showing that how right and wrong can mean 10 different things for the same situation, and there is no right answer. So
Thank you so much for that. It was a wonderful input. Let's go to Archana. Archana, what do you think?
Anu, when everybody was sharing, I just remembered something which was very innocent, very beautiful, and again the aspect of right and wrong, or I had just got married, and it was the second day of my marriage. When I got married, I got married from a hostel. I was studying in the hostel, staying in the hostel for 5 years, and then I got married. So, I was told that when we take clothes to the other house, we take new clothes. We don't take our old clothes. Okay. So I bought a new pair of jeans, cut them into shorts, and took out strings. Niche, like they were hanging strings, like just as a design. I made them myself. And the second day of my wedding, and I got dressed up, wore my shorts, and I was out of my room. Just imagine a girl who has mehndi on her hand, chuda, mang bhari hui, who's properly decked up otherwise with jewelry and everything, in t-shirt and shorts. So my mother-in-law is telling me, beta, don't you have other clothes? And I'm like, no, I have other clothes, but don't worry, these are not old shorts. They appear to be, but they're brand new ones, and I've cut them and designed them and everything. And it really took her a while to make me understand that it's just the second day of my wedding and there are relatives outside. I shouldn't be really going out in the shops.
Absolutely.
I mean, and till quite some time, the whole family would sit together and make fun of me that, God, this girl who came from the hostel, she was like, okay, I'm back to the hostel and in my shorts. And I convinced everybody they're brand new jeans. Don't worry, I'm not wearing old clothes.
To Gopu sir, anything happened in your life where you looked at maybe cross cultures, maybe you didn't feel fitted in, maybe you felt that, as innocent things where we didn't mean to hurt anyone, but it just appeared to be wrong and right?
No, actually, plenty of occasions of that nature. When I was in college, my brother was in UK and he came back to join the business. So he had studied in UK and done some working experience there, and he came back. When he came, he had a lot of European English influence. So He used to smoke, he used to drink. Whereas in our house, all this was unheard of, unseen, before. So uh, then he joined a social service organization where they used to party and drink and all that. And once in a way, he used to take me along just like that. So that was a cross culture. It was a different culture for me because in our house we never had all these things. It was only music or studying or religious functions or something like that. But when he came back from UK, the entire culture in me got changed. So it was a big turnaround. It was a big different world for me, and I enjoyed that. Of course, it was only once in a month or something like that that he would take me along. So, what I mean to point out here is there is nothing called good and bad or right and wrong. It's only how you perceive it, how you come across it, and how you perceive it. And we are all opinionated. Every person in this world is opinionated. They have to comment or something or the other in the other person or the uh, co-member of the family. Oh, why are you wearing this dress? Oh, why are you having chicken? We don't allow chicken in the house. We don't allow non-vegetarian food. Or how come you're having a beer at home? So these are cultures or traditions which have been there, which if broken, people have, they throw up against that. So it's an opinion. There's nothing called right and wrong. There is no Shastra or Veda written on this. कि ये आपको इसी तरह जीना है आपको घर में सिर्फ लुंगी पहनना है धोती पहनना है of course like Archana said you can wear a short which is torn and patched up so it's all in your head what you think about the world how to live in it and how to co-live with other human beings so this is my opinion that again I am also opinionated so is everyone so I perceive that nothing is right and wrong it's in the perception of the person who is looking at you.
Absolutely.
If that
Absolutely.
perception is changed, then it's okay with everyone.
Absolutely.
My wife was a very strict vegetarian. She was a very conventional, traditional family. She came from Chennai. But when she came into my life, I used to have, we used to go out for parties, we used to go out to restaurants. That was never happened in her life before. But she adjusted.
Yeah.
She was able to, move along. There was no issues on that. So
Absolutely.
slowly, things change in your life.
Yes. So, Dr. Rashmi, what do you think about the whole thing?
Yes, Anu. Anu,
Right, wrong?
I remember, I remember an incident. Maybe this is incident based, whatever we decide. I was in Patiala about 10 years back or so, and my husband had a friend who would come and visit us. He was looking for a bride. So every time he would come in week 15 days later, he would talk to us about the prospective bride, and he had visited this lady, and that I mean whether he liked her or not. So one fine day he came in and he said, "You know what? Everything was good. The girl was also beautiful. He was going in for an arranged marriage, but there was one drawback. That is why we did not we did not go in for that alliance." I was just listening. I was quiet, and even when they used to have this conversation, I used to be most of the time quiet only. So he said, "No, Bhabhi, you must listen. That this girl is a PTI instructor, and she is. You know why we rejected her? We rejected her because she will get to do PT in the morning. Get us. She will put us and help. Will tell us to do yoga or physical training in the morning." And then he pointed out. He made an action as if that girl is going to do this. So I did not know how to react. So I thought what to do. So I just kept quiet. I did not say anything. I did not react. I did not say positive. I did not say negative because I was taken aback because I felt emotionally connected probably to that girl that this is a disrespect against anybody and to reject a person on a basis of a profession or on looks is not good and then coming and talking and gossiping about it was not my cup of tea. So I just kept quiet. So after 6 7 days, it was Valentine's, and me and my husband were going in a car, and my husband suddenly said, "You are angry." I said, "I'm not angry. Why am I angry?" He said, "But you insulted my friend." I said, "How come I insulted your friend? I, when did I insult your friend?" And that thing had gone out of my mind. He said, "You insulted him last week when he came, and he was telling about this, and you did not react." I said, "But what do I have to react on that? I have a choice that I need to. If I mean, I can't laugh out on that matter. I can't be abrupt on that matter. So I had a choice to speak. Though that matter was sorted out later, but that hurt me very badly. And I thought that, I mean, if I'm doing a good thing, why can the other person think that I'm doing a bad thing? How come that happens?"
Right. So I hear this from from the panel right now, that what people have not seen, what doesn't belong to their conditioning, what doesn't belong to their culture, they don't understand it. It's like certain things are just missing from their grooming or part of their grooming. So if you've never had an issue, you don't know how to deal with it. So when somebody looks at something and says, "Oh, this is not right," what they're actually saying is that I haven't seen it, I haven't experienced it like this. And I don't think I will do it like this, because my background, my conditioning says that if I behaved in XYZ manner, I will not belong. And here I bring up a topic of how will you be cut off from your belonging just because you did something that was not the normal for your community. So let's go with Sumita and ask her, why is it that you will not belong if you are not doing things that your community, that your culture, that your what your house has seen, what people in the house have seen, becomes very restrictive. It's like saying, you didn't have this experience, my parents didn't have this experience, so even I'm not allowed. Even my children will not be allowed the same experience. It can be the experience of eating non-veg, experience of wearing shorts, experience of talking a language, or experience of maybe drinking. And drinking is part of Indian culture, always has been. But somewhere we all talk about, drinking as if it's a culturally come from somewhere outside. And we don't want to take the responsibility for that. So, Sumita, could you throw some light on it? How is our belonging going to get impacted by this right wrong that we have in our head and by the conditioning?
Definitely, Anu, because conditioning, as you say, is like a very strong, I would say reflex action kind of a thing in the brain. It's so much, it's a scientific process. It's something which your brain has learned over time and again. It's a patterning done, and it's really hard to break that patterning uh, at the moment where, unless and until you are so much aware about it and awakened about it. So like you were saying about, like not eating non-veg or drinking. So when I was getting married, for me this was a huge criteria. More than me, it was a huge criteria for my family, because they were looking for grooms where, there has to be three ticks. The guy has to be a non-smoker, the guy has to be a non-drinker, and uh, vegetarian. And only one criteria was getting fulfilled when I made that, okay, this is my decision, I want to marry this guy. So there were only one tick was getting done, and there were still two checks not done. So obviously there was a lot of you know not coming to a settlement that this is not the right decision. So somewhere I made that choice, and I stood up and said, it's me who's going to adjust. It's not you people. So if I'm okay, let's go about it. You know. So I think we all have a choice at that moment, and I feel that when you take that decision, definitely I had that what you say, fear or some kind of a uncomfortableness that, oh, I've taken this decision. What would happen next? But I felt that, okay, this person is going to understand me, because I have given that these are my restrictions for myself. What you do is your life, but at least this would be my restrictions. And somewhere universe and god supported me so strongly that being in a married in a Punjabi family till date, when people ask me, I stay with my in-laws, and my father-in-law made a rule that Nobody's going to eat non-veg in this house. I was myself very stunned and shocked to hear this, but that's the rule they made. And till date, they don't. They eat outside, but they don't eat at home. So I mean, it's a huge decision, I would say. Maybe I am not able to take it for somebody, but they took it uh, out of love for their son, out of love for me, out of respect for me, that they didn't want to hurt me. So I feel that, if you put forward your choice, in a way, it has always been my experience. And this is what I always tell my daughter. First you make the choice, what you think is right. Forget what you think you want, forget right or wrong. If it is something you really want, God will help you. The universe will make sure that you are given that kind of a support. It is not really a help, it is a support, and we all go for it. And when I got that support, I felt so much loved and respected that, in spite of whatever were the differences, I just always remember, even when we have times like struggling or challenging times, I always remember that. So that's a sacrifice they made for me. So I mean, I'm going to respect it for that. So I feel it's a very give and take relationship, even in a mother daughter or you know it's like, you do something to me, I am definitely bound to understand that, and connect it from the heart. So I feel, more than good, bad, ugly, beautiful, it is a heart connection. And once you make that heart connection, everything is right. So
Absolutely. I mean, don't we always pardon our fathers and our brothers and so many other people and say, even if they're broken rules, that they are fine, but somebody else does it, we are not fine with it. So again, I go back to, I'll start with Vasavi here. Vasavi, how does the good, bad, right, wrong, and this conditioning of ours impact our belonging?
Very big question. I think what happens in our upbringing is that the whole things of this is good, this is bad, our mind gets very subtly trained, because we see our parents or people in our family constantly maybe rejecting things around them, कि अरे वो तो मुस्लिम है, अरे उसका उसके चेहरे पे एकदम पिंपल्स हो गए हैं, वो एकदम मोटी हो गई है, उससे शादी कौन करेगा, like these are things I've heard. Or one of the, like, these are things I'm recalling. And once I remember there was Aishwarya Rai, she was looking so beautiful in this movie Tal, and there's this one scene where the light falls in her face in some way where you can see whiteheads or some little things on her cheeks. And someone in my family said, oh my god, she's looking so bad, so ugly. So these are things as a kid, I don't know why, it's just one line, but they stuck with me. So somewhere what happens as a kid, we to belong, we feel okay, to belong to this family, I also have to reject this, because everywhere everyone is rejecting the same thing. And then as you grow older, when you become your own person, I feel if those traits start appearing in you. So it's like, suppose you see your grandmother reject a girl whose bra straps are showing, and suddenly you're wearing a top and you realize, अरे मेरा तो bra strap दिख रहा था, like, or something. You suddenly start rejecting yourself. So you start rejecting all that in you that you feel that everyone at home was rejecting in the first place, and then that creates a lot of, I think, negative self-talk, self-criticism. And instead of other people now telling you, okay, this is good, this is bad, you are telling yourself, you are bad, you are bad, you had a breakout on your face, you are bad, you didn't clean it up properly. And so even though it's not aimed at you, it's like that history of criticism, it could be aimed at different people, you don't want to be on the other end, the receiving end of the criticism. So when you reach there, then you feel like very unworthy. So I feel this is where the whole issue of good and bad, right and wrong comes up. And there is really no good and bad, right and wrong, because I have had the opportunity to stay in different families, maybe with friends, or when I was in the States for a conference, I got to stay with a host family. And I saw that everyone's family has a different set of right and wrong. When I stayed in this host family in Virginia, it was a well-to-do family, and I spoke to the mother of the house, the woman of the house, and she said, out here, our kids, the moment they turn 18, they're expected to leave their house. We don't expect them to stay here. And that is something that was unfathomable for me, because in my family, girls, like after a certain age, you shouldn't be out after sunset, you shouldn't be using public transport, you shouldn't be meeting anyone. It's like you would be openly shamed or criticized for doing these things. So that really opened my mind up that there really is no right and wrong. It's a spectrum we create for ourselves, and we do anything to fit into that, but then that doesn't happen all the time.
Very well said. Let's go to Joanne and ask her, how's the right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful, ugly? How do these conditionings impact our adjustment and our belonging?
I think just building on what Basvi just shared, for me, having the criticisms directed at me personally was even stronger than hearing the criticisms directed against somebody else. And I think a lot of people say that children are very resilient and robust. But actually, I think as children, we're very, very sensitive, particularly to those where we feel we belong with our family. And suddenly a criticism comes at us that we really believe it and take it on board and feel that we're wrong because of that. Certainly, that's what happened to me. And what my question is to all the mums really is, how do I bring up my son differently? Even now when he was being noisy and I was saying, be quiet, I want to speak, is he now feeling that he's wrong for speaking up? So how do we now deal with it so that our children don't grow up feeling the things that we felt? So that's really a question for all of the mums here.
Pick that right now in next 2 minutes. So over to Rashmi. Rashmi, how does this conditioning impact your belonging? This conditioning of what's right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful, ugly. How is it impacting you?
It's impacting me as an individual because whenever whatever I react, it's me. It's my conditioning which has happened over 50 years of my life. So now that I'm changing, I'm seeing a change in my life now that I'm almost turning 50, and after this half century, I'll be I'm different. The world is also changing. So now I'm feeling that I need to actually step out from that step and take another step. For example, on that day, rather than feeling confused because this happened for the first time in my life, I would have said, okay, it's their story. Let it be. Rather than getting emotionally attached to the girl whom I didn't even know. And probably in my own aspect, I might have thought that this is my self respect coming in. I could have enjoyed.
So you're making things and converting them, everything that's happening around you or happening to a woman is probably happening to you, is how you're feeling.
Exactly.
And you need to probably stop taking that so personally because they weren't ever talking about you.
Yes.
Right. And that can happen. They're talking about someone else, but we feel wrong because we are emotionally connected to that incident or that situation. Very well said. Let's go to Yogini from here. Yogini.
So it was amazing to hear all the stories. Vasfi, you really explained it so well that we have been conditioned to feel bad or good about our actions, and that is what is affecting our personalities. So I think, but over a time, as we mature, as we are going through more and more of these meta families and mind coaching, as we are growing, I think we realize that there are rule breakers. There are people who have gone beyond, and that's why the society is changing today. Gay marriage is biggest example. I mean, 20 years ago, it would be like a taboo. Live-in marriages, live-in relationships today, dating guys. It's a very, very new thing. And now the generations are accepting. I think, yes, there are conditionings, but also as the generations pass, we are getting more understanding. The freedom our parents give, our children will get a little more than that. So we are going to a society where things will be accepted a little more liberally. Someone has to change. We cannot wait for the world to change, but I think the change begins within us. So if we start being non-judgmental to people, like as Vasvi said, looking at a film star, isko pimple hai, ye moti hai, ye, we stop judging people because we don't like people judging us. That point, you are changing that dot, one drop in the ocean that is changing yourself. Stop being judgmental to people because your children are listening. They are learning from you. So stop being judgmental and you will change your life because what you project to the world gives back to you. So if I stop being judgmental to people, people will not be judgmental to me. And it's a law of attraction, we all now are in that society and we know this. So that is the first thing that we need to start. And to answer Joanne's question on what should I tell my son, I think you should make a barter system. You tell him, you know what, when you are talking with your friends, I wouldn't be disturbing you. And when I talk with my friends, you do not disturb me. Let's make a deal and a pact there. I think it's always better when you work on a barter system with kids because they understand it better. They like, I'll do this, I'll get this. A reward or appreciation always works really well. So try it out, Joanne. I hope that helps you.
Okay, so let's go to Gopu sir. Gopu sir, how do you think this right, wrong, good, bad, this concept of somebody being ugly, somebody being beautiful, could be a conditioning which is impacting your belonging, and you want to stay within that belonging? And when we say I want to stay within that belonging, also want to stay within that mindset, because nothing else will appear right to me, because that means I will be thrown away from my loved ones. I will be asked to go. How does this impact you?
Uh, well, it impacts every person on this earth because people, as I said earlier, people are opinionated and they will continue to be opinionated. They won't change. Nobody is going to change their way of talking, behavior, appearance, whatever you may say. But people are going to comment on something or the other, the good, the bad, ugly, fat, thin, uh, whatever, you chain smoker, whatever. You will comment on everything you feel like. But the fact remains that it has an impact on uh, us as well as our children because they are watching, they are observing what we do, they are observing how we talk on the phone. In fact, sometimes if I abuse somebody on the phone, my children come up and ask, why did you get angry? Why did you abuse that person? What happened? So they are bound to react and give their piece of their mind. Now they are grown up children. They also have opinions. Dad, you shouldn't have said that. You shouldn't have got angry. Why did you scold? Blah blah blah. So all these things do happen in today's life, and today's world is more liberal than 20 years back or 30 years back. Things have changed. People are used to being free, having their own space, their own time. They are free to talk to whomever they feel like. We can't really question who did you talk to. Can't even ask your daughter who were you chatting for such a long time. You got to be a little discreet about it. So the mothers play a good role there. The fathers generally do not bother, or they choose another occasion to, mildly ask, "Hey, who were you talking to last night for such a long time?" And try to find out is it a relationship or is it just a friendship or it was a colleague or who it was. So inquisitiveness, being opinionated, being accustomed to a bit of conservatism, all this is packaged into our life. Unfortunately, there is no choice. It will change with time. It will change with people you are associated with. But I feel that it is very 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 uh, uh, slowly and surely it's changing for the better or for the good or bad. We don't know. Again, that's another opinion altogether.
Absolutely.
So I give it to the panel to chat on this. And
Good.
what Joanne said, I would like to tell her that teach the right values to your children. Need not be what you did in your childhood, but what is right and wrong, which is considered within your community or you're living with people around you. Maybe that could be a ballpark or a benchmark for uh, teaching your children what is right and what basic etiquette, I would say. Yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Let's go to Archana. Dr. Archana, If you can throw some light on the conditioning and threatened if we didn't do things right, then what will happen?
Anu, when we do not do things according to what is the normal concept of the family or the society or the place where we are staying, we are, I'm talking about myself. I think I was very scared at times. I conditioned myself to try and do things so that acceptance was there for me. It was not that it was a right thing to do or a wrong thing to do. But for me, it was something like, I remember I had a boyfriend in class 10th and 9th. At that time, I was in an Air Force station somewhere in Gujarat, and it was not a normal thing for girls to even talk to boys during that time. Now things have changed. I'm just telling you. And I really went through a very, very tough time that time, because first I was made to feel that I am not a right girl because I have a relationship with the boy. And because I had a relationship with the boy and I was very happy with his friends around because they were not the bitching kind. So I was very happy in that situation. So my interaction with my female friends was very, very limited. And that gave me one hell of a bad name and game, whatever you want to call it. So, and I would try and be so nice to my girl friends so that they accepted me. I mean, I would actually tolerate their bullying to a very large extent. And now I met those friends. We are all grown ups now and mothers and, professionally settled, all of us. And I remember 3 friends of mine who actually came up and apologized to me. Archana, we were very rude to you that time. I mean, it was gracious of them to understand that, but at that time, Anu, it was scary, I mean, except for the attraction that I had a boyfriend in the school, I never wanted to go to school. I mean, can you imagine a condition? A child doesn't want to go to school because she's going to be shamed or, pulled down or bullied by her own friends, her own peers. And I couldn't come home and tell it to my parents. Definitely not. It is not right or wrong. It was such a beautiful feeling I had, but I couldn't, walk with my head. Like today, children, my own children, they come and say, Mom, I like this guy. And I'm like, it's okay, fine, you like him, good. Things have changed. So that it is just that those conditioning, right, wrong, good, bad, it is very, very personal. And I think you react in very different ways. I reacted in very different ways just to feel belonged in that community or society or that friend circle, whatever I want to call it. And
I'm
yes,
grateful actually because everybody's spoken from their heart. They've not tried hiding anything. And that's the best part of it. But I was just thinking loudly. What Joanne has asked is a very good question. How do we bring up children from here?
Anu, just I think being honest with our children is the best thing that we can do. Like she just mentioned that she had to tell her child to go quiet because she had to attend this forum and she needed a peaceful situation, which is absolutely understandable. And yes, barter works at times, but then it can mislead many a times. So that conditioning is very nice, that see, you talk to your friends, I won't disturb you. So when I'm talking, you don't disturb. And Joanne, I think honesty, clarity, and open conversation with kids is the best way that I think I have followed with my children.
Absolutely.
I mean, and I've got amazing results with it.
Wonderful. I'm going to just
Thank
throw
you.
all of you like we did yesterday. But let's give you the background of that idea. I hear this right now. that there are polarities. And these are the opposites that we actually got created in the first 1 year of after our birth, because we realized we were separate. We realized our mom is feminine and we have a male. So they were opposites. Mom is saying no, dad saying yes. Between this yes and no, good and bad. Oh, I've trained my four-legged dog, so I know how the dog trainer was training me and constantly saying, if you don't like something, you got to take her name and say, no, Luna, no. And if an animal can be trained like this, are we training our kids in the same way? Is there some difference, or is there no difference? Somewhere we seem to be doing what I was doing with Luna is what I think we are doing with our children too. But thinking of a society which would not have these two sides, because everything has two sides of the spectrum. And then we are making one side wrong and one side good. That itself, by itself, seems like an alien concept to me. And again, I bring over here Bertelinger Institute, which says that everything that you reject comes right in front of you. You reject and it walks right in front of you. Because whatever you reject, you got to deal with it far more than what you accept. So today, I'm not going to be talking now about good situations. I'm going to give you a bad situation and you're going to throw an opportunity and tell me what's an opportunity in that. All my panelists ready?
Yes.
Thank you. So let's start with Rashmi. Capital Delhi is where you're staying. Nirbhaya happened there. The girl was gang raped. Horrible stuff happened. Show me an opportunity there.
No, that's a very difficult question.
I know it is.
Because most of Delhiites, we live in the fear that after that happened many years back. Yeah, but that we will have to train ourselves. Yes. Okay, we have to get out of the fear. Because what happens does not mean that it's going to happen again or it's going to happen every day and every minute.
Wonderful.
We have to get out of the fear and be bold our own selves. And rather the opportunity is getting more bolder.
Okay, let's go to Sumita with the same question. I'm just going to throw these events to you and let's see if you can remove opportunity. And fast, quick. I don't want you guys thinking, because the more we think, the more we are not taking action. What happens? The Nirbhaya situation, you've seen, you've heard, the girl has been gang raped. How can you find an opportunity in that? That's so wrong. And then we are saying it's not wrong, not right. That's so wrong. What's an opportunity?
So the opportunity here, Anu, is that a girl has a choice every time to do a certain thing or not do a certain thing in terms of living a life. So if there were possibilities, she couldn't have been at that time alone, or maybe there was somebody more, there was somebody who could escort her, or situations like that. But if she had been in that situation, somewhere she couldn't do anything about it. So maybe the choice was not given to her and she had to undergo it. But that doesn't mean that's going to apply to everybody.
Sumita, sweetheart.
No. Anu, but Nirbhaya had an escort with her.
Exactly. She had an escort with her.
Of course she had an
Yeah,
escort.
that's what I'm saying.
Thinking about a situation that this happened.
Yes.
Most looked at it and got scared of it. What's an opportunity there? I want you to find an opportunity. Let's go to the next person. Archana, what's an opportunity there? Vasvi, what's an opportunity?
It was an opportunity. For the first time, the whole bloody country got together and raised a voice against a topic which was bloody never even uttered.
Thank you so much.
It was the first time when I left my whole family and I was sitting in the candle march for days and days together. I did it myself. And not once, many a times I did it. And it was an opportunity that I could sit and talk about it openly in my family. And I saw the male members in my family with tears in their eyes. It was an opportunity that that lady gave us to talk, fight, and have the anger and aggression against something as brutal as this. And yes, it is an opportunity which is happening till today, where ladies and girls and kids and women don't talk. Now they talk, they protest, they go to this police station and they launch the complaints. Pehle to it used to be just hush hush under the carpet, and you wouldn't be even allowed to tell your own bloody family about it, Anu. It
Thank
was an opportunity, absolutely.
Anybody else? Fatafat, anybody else? Gopu sir, Vasavi,
I think
Yogini.
it was a very big
Yeah,
opportunity
I'm coming.
because suddenly there was not there was not a lot of excuses that could be given, that oh, it's just a boy, oh, like there was no escort, oh, there was nothing, because they made it violent, like there was a rod involved, there was all of this involved, and the kind of attention that went to the people who perpetrated it, that was an opportunity in itself, because instead of so much of focus on the victim and how her life would be ruined and what she went through, it was more also about how could they do this. And I felt that was the first time that this happened, at least in India. So that was the
Absolutely. Gopu
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. So I'm going to give the male perspective to this. Yes,
Please.
I do agree that was a very horrendous act by a few young men. But the point here is, where does the buck stop?
No, we're
Who is
not
responsible?
stop. I want the opportunity, sir.
The
What's an
opportunity.
opportunity?
I'm coming to
Sorry.
that. Where does
Yes.
the buck stop? Who is responsible for this?
I see.
Why these kind of incidents are continuing to happen? The
Yes.
opportunity in this is to raise your voice so that the government, the education system, as well as the citizens of the country are their eyes are opened up for such incidents. First of all, I think the opportunity is here for a citizen to put up their hand and tell the government that we need to have sex education as well as counseling and mental health care in schools. That's where it starts from. So I think that was a huge opportunity for the citizens of the country to raise their voice and tell the government that this thing need to be done. At a young age, people have to be told about all these things and counsel them
You
right
want
at the prime.
anger. I'm hearing something from you guys which is showing a reaction. And this is about showing a reaction and finding opportunity in everything. Yogini, what do you think?
yeah. So Anu, I think when I saw this whole incident, actually, I would frankly say I shut off the TVs. Okay, it was scary, definitely.
Don't
But the
want to
other fact is, I didn't want to be judgmental. So I think I learned one thing. I can't hear you, Anu.
I don't want to hear what you did. I want to
Yeah.
know what opportunity there.
Yes,
Just
I'm just yeah. So first thing, opportunity is stop being judgmental. Nobody knew what was there. Okay. Second thing I learned, it is not about the female. It's not about the woman what she wears. But I think I realized this country needs to raise better boys. We need to raise better sons. And I think there was a whole revolution because the women felt that pain inside for a woman going through it. I think women have over time realized that it is not about raising stronger girls, but raising the boys right. They need to respect women. They need to understand no is a no. I think that's where the whole change has come about in the country. Not just raising stronger girls, but sensible boys.
absolutely. Joanne, you were away from here, from the whole scene. There was a girl who was brutally raped, and it was bad. It was really bad. Uh, and what do you think could be opportunity here?
I think, like everybody's saying, the opportunity for openness, communication, and really for the next generation to do things differently by learning from the mistakes of this generation.
Thank you so much. Do you know what? I feel that you guys are understanding what I'm talking about. It's not just easy sitting down in our living rooms and talking about good, bad, ugly. No, there is stuff happening today that's not okay. And yet you have no reactions to it. You get scared. Okay, let's take a second situation. And we'll start with Gopusa here. The man has been in a job for 28 years. He's worked every day very well. He's done brilliantly well. And then the recession happens and his job is taken away from him. And he's the only earning member of the house. What's the opportunity there? I only want to know opportunity, guys. Don't tell me your stories. I'm not interested. What's the opportunity there for this man?
Well, the opportunity I see here is if you lost your job, you can regroup and start a small business. That's the opportunity I see here. You know that during COVID time, in the lockdown time, there are so many families who started small businesses, like even delivery service or home cooked meals. And especially during Diwali, you could find gift boxes being made by families together because they were all together. So dry fruits or small gifts, they were packaged. So there were a lot of opportunities which did come your way, by which you could see that families were adopting, male members were shifting gears into other kinds of businesses and ways of getting some income. I think
Wonderful.
that
You think it's an opportunity there? The guy loses his job, 28 years he's worked with loyalty. He has not done anything wrong. He hasn't stolen, but his job goes because recession has happened. Now he's the only earning member. Life is going to be difficult. It's not right or wrong, good, bad, beautiful or ugly. What's an opportunity there?
I think it's his greatest opportunity to sit back and think, because when you're in job, I think you become so absorbed. It's like kind of hypnotized, plus that incoming money, the fear of losing job or fear of you're trying something new. I think it's a great opportunity to think, rethink. Is this really what I want to retire with? Is this what I want to? This is this a story I want to tell to the world that, oh, I worked 50 years in this company. And as Gopu sir rightly said, it's a great opportunity to explore your passions. Think what you can do new. It's time to learn, adapt, and explore. There's nothing to lose now.
Absolutely. Well done. I'm going to the third situation. I'm not going to groom on it. You can just put your hand up and tell me, I want to talk about it. When the riots happened in Mumbai, Taj Hotel was on fire. And somebody, that's the main guy of the Taj Hotel, lost his entire family, got burnt inside. Gruesome stuff. It's wrong, we would say. What's an opportunity there? Can we find one opportunity in these horrible, horrible stuff? Anybody who wants to put their hand up and talk?
I think Anu, it's the kind of dedication and loyalty he had towards his people, co-workers, and staff, and all the guests. That he was so passionate for saving people. The opportunity is that when you are on a mission, he was on a mission. He didn't even bother about his family, And I have actually read his story quite 2-3 times, so I could understand what he was trying to do was, though he was losing his family, somewhere he had this in his mind to check on his family, but he was constantly helping. He didn't even so when you are on a mission, that is the message he's giving as an opportunity, is that you forget everythything and you just go beyond your capacity. You stretch yourself so much that you don't even think about your loved ones, because for him everybody was loved and dear to him,
He
even if
was,
he could save.
for him,
Everybody was a family, absolutely, Trace.
he didn't know which family to save. Everybody was his family. I just want
True.
each one of you to talk about your one place where you had a downfall and you converted that into an opportunity. One place where you were stuck and you converted that into opportunity. Let's go with Joanne first. One place where you felt you were able to convert or transform your worst fears into an opportunity. Thank you. I really, really value this.
No, just very quickly, really breakdown of a relationship, which transformed for me into having my own space, living on my own, and really developing that relationship with me, which stays with you forever. So to me, that was very powerful.
I salute you for this. Rashmi, One place where you converted your demons or your worst place into an opportunity.
I lost my job in 2004. 2003, I lost my job. And that time, I was working on a contractual basis with the Delhi government, and the Delhi government did not need doctors at that moment, so they were laying them off. So I lost my job at that time, and that is the time I started thinking that I should rather sit down and take care of my kid. That time I had only one kid, and then I had another one later. So I brought them up for another 10 years and then started my work. So that was a period where I could give that time to my kids and family, which I would have longed for.
Wonderful. So you were able to convert that into something that you could give to your children. Vasavi, what about you? One thing that went wrong and you converted into an opportunity. You are real heroes, guys. You're not here just for nothing. You went beyond right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful, ugly. Let's really tell people our real stories. So, Vasavi, what did you do? One place where you didn't know what to do and you transformed it and you became more beautiful, more amazing, more right in your head.
Okay, I'm trying to think. There are two little things coming. I was like when I mentioned that first day when I went to class and I froze. So I think that was, I could call that a downfall. So there was this whole phase where I wasn't able to enter my classes because I had a really big complex in my mind, and actually my attendance was low, and it was all because of this image I had of what people are looking at me like. And I would freeze at the doorstep of the class. I'd reach 10 minutes early, but I couldn't enter. So it was crazy. I just go to the toilet and then I just wouldn't come out until the end of the day. And I think I converted that because I realized that I was because of this fear of being rejected, I was rejecting everyone before they could reject me. And when I understood that, I converted that as an opportunity. And then I started walking into the classes feeling like I have something to say. And I made it a point to start saying at least one sentence out of my mouth. So it started by that. And then I managed to get myself a job in that country, the very country in which I thought that I wouldn't be able to face anyone there.
And she's
So
guys, she's going to be constantly be confronted with right, wrong, good, bad, beautiful.
yes, true.
Very nice.
Words.
What about you? What did you do? Yogini, what did you do?
So, Anu, I went through a terrible downfall. I actually lost my mom to cancer. I was 8 months pregnant, not in this country. I was away from home, and that really hit me so bad. And my mom was strong enough, so it was a relapse. And this time she was strong enough that jo bhi ho jaye, chemo to main nahi lungi. So she decided to trust her own faith. And that time it felt like, did we do something wrong? Did we do something right? There was a constant conflict because everybody kept saying, "Tum galat kar rahe ho, tum galat kar rahe ho, tum galat kar rahe ho." You know, it's like a constant conflict. I remember those words my mom said that one day I'm going to write a book that medicines don't work. Okay, I remember this statement very clearly. Till then, we were not the mind people. But the moment we decided not to give her chemo, you will believe from all over the world, people started giving us these books. Bernie Siegel's book on how to cure cancer with the mind. To everything just started falling in perspective. I would say we did not have the opportunity because she was at an advanced stage, but that downfall was big. I went into depression, but I would say that is the only reason today I'm a mind coach. I'm working with people. That is my mission to really help people use the power of your mind to create and destroy things. You know, you are the controller. तो डूबो मत अपने गमों में मत डूबो because your emotion is what is creating the disease. So let it out. And that's where I am today.
Bravo. Let's go to Gopu sir. How did you convert one of the worst parts of your life into an opportunity?
Well, you know it, Anu. I had a lot of debacles in my life I had to face. The first one was when my brother left home and didn't come back, and he was the main partner in the business, and I was below him, and had to keep the ship going. It was a very challenging time for 4 to 5 years. And somehow I gathered courage and turned around the ship and was able to, you know, what to say, sort out and come out with a clean slate in terms of finance. We were down many crores, and so we had to come out of that, and I was able to manage that. I think that is the biggest challenge I've ever faced in my life,
Wow.
and I could do that. Yes.
I mean, his brother never came back, but he didn't have a choice to go anywhere. He transformed and he held the ship and he made sure that nothing sank. Wow. That's an amazing opportunity. What about you, Sumita?
I would say, Anu, the time when I was diagnosed with my own illness, so I didn't think it was really a disease, and I was just managing with a back pain kind of a thing. And suddenly I was told that this is like, a disease, and, you have to take precautions, you have to be on steroids, you have to take medicines. So that was a very low phase of my life. Um, at the same time, God gave me the blessing of the partnership, and I was thinking of getting married at the same time. So I had a choice to be depressed and not get married. And there was a lot of talk about this, that you have a choice, you don't get married, we stay there and treat yourself. So I just thought that even if I get married, I can treat myself. Marriage is not a stoppage. So I went into that way ahead, and I think I converted that into a opportunity of I think if I'm fighting alone, somebody else can also be my partner and support me in that. And I truly got that as a blessing. So I think
Wow.
that's my biggest.
Didn't take no
Thank
for
you.
an answer, did not say, hey, I will not do this. She lived life to the fullest. Brilliant. Let's go to Dr. Archana. आपने क्या किया?
Anu, life's been more than kind to me, but I remember my younger one was in fifth class, and she had her epileptic attack, first epileptic attack that time. And it was the first time that I started questioning myself as a practitioner and as a doctor. My roots were shaken, that I couldn't, take care of my own child. What will I sit in my clinic and tell the so many other patients that I'm dealing with? And I mean, how we got over with the treatment and everything, and then started again working on myself. That one thing going wrong cannot pull back from all those learnings and all those lessons that I have learned in life.
Bravo.
I mean, but it was scary. It was not funny. It was really scary. Very scary, because the whole platter of confidence was shaken, royally shaken.
Thank you so much. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened in my life and how I continued doing what I needed to do. About 5 years back, I had several heart attacks. And anybody I said that, they said, you're working for health and that's going to be a professional suicide. I stopped living life as if I'm going to have a tomorrow. And I often say this, people live their life as if they're going to have a tomorrow, day after. I'm very aware that if I go from this planet Earth, it will be in a jiffy. And so that's why I like to do things which can be jhatpat fatafat. You can't plan life. Life makes plans for you. There is no menu card that you can go to and then order and say, this is how I want my life to be. Yes, I understand that you can create a lot of things, you can manifest. But what if every menu card becomes what you really wanted? What if you were able to say, I don't want to work today, and it happens? And the other thing that I did for myself, 50 years of getting scared of dogs, 50 years of getting scared of dogs. Anybody would bring a dog, a mouse, a cat, anything next to me, and you would find me in another city. I sleep with my dog today. She cuddles with me today, and I call her my daughter. And I truly feel blessed to have her in my life. Your biggest wounds can become your biggest blessings and opportunities. This is what Carl Dawson always says. Stay in your story, guys. There is nothing wrong, there's nothing right. It's just an opportunity. Let's all carry this and see what an opportunity can create for you. And so I still haven't thought about the topic for tomorrow, but I will put it up. And how about some of you suggesting from here what the topic can be? And that I would really, really welcome that. And maybe we can sit down at the same time tomorrow and work on it. Would that be okay with all of you? Like at 4 in the evening. Thank you so much. I love you all. And thank you all my panelists for being here. I am so amazed and feel blessed every day. We've completed day 7 or 8.
Day 8.
Day 8. Oh my God. We completed day 8. And you can go and look at all the videos on my YouTube channel. They're also there floating on the Facebook. And we've been having candid conversations about topics that might hurt you, maybe controversial. But I don't think there's anything controversial in the world. In fact, गम है तो हंसी है, जिंदगी है इसीलिए क्योंकि मौत है. डर के क्या जीना यारो, अगर जीना है तो अच्छे से जियो और मजा आ जाए कि तुमको कोई देख के बोले जीना है तो ऐसे जीना है. Thank you guys.
Absolutely, Anu. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.